The name Swilly is derived from a landed country estate called Swilly. And so, if you like, the land was sold, and in deference to the previous owner, the place was called Swilly. As soon as I arrived in the area, I joined what was known as the North Prospect Community Development Support Group, because in earlier times there had been residential disquiet and violence in the Wordsworth area, and as a result of a public inquiry, they decided that they needed to have a community development worker here. A decision was made to transfer Plymouth City Council's housing to a newly developed Plymouth Community Homes. And in effect, what we did as the partnership, we welcomed Clive Turner, the new CEO, and a small team of people, and introduced them to the residents, because it had then been decided that North Prospect merited some form of redevelopment.
I've been working for Plymouth Community Homes since 2013 and have been involved in the North Prospect regeneration ever since. North Prospect was a pretty notorious area 15 odd years ago. Anyone that knows Plymouth will know that it had a reputation for antisocial behaviour, and the properties themselves, they had damp, and they were built just after the First World War, and they suffered from a number of defects. We think this is the biggest regeneration in the southwest. It's cost almost £130 million. We haven't been able to do it without the help from Homes England grant funding, as well as from the City Council. The City Council declared a compulsory purchase for the whole area, which enabled us to do the site assembly, which was critical. It's too early to say what the full effect of the regeneration will be, but I think anyone walking around North Prospect can see the change physically. One of the ambitions, of course, was that it would become a safe neighbourhood, and we're really pleased with some of the resident feedback surveys we've had, showing that residents are feel very safe, which I always think is a major test of whether regeneration has worked or not.
I joined just before Council transferred all the homes to PCH in 2009, and one of the promises that we made as part of the transfer was to regenerate North Prospect. The idea of the regeneration, the biggest in the southwest at the time, replacing close to 800 homes, with 1,100 new ones, was to revitalise the community, change the mix of homes so there would be private home ownership, there would be 1 beds, 2 beds, 3 beds, as opposed to just the 3 beds that were there at the time. We had to secure a lot of money to get this done, and at the time we got a really big loan from NatWest, RBS as they were then, and that was enough to fund the whole project. We also needed funding from Homes England on the grant side. We had some funding from Plymouth City Council, as well as the council providing more additional land at a cheap rate. We were saved by the European Investment Bank lending us 30 million through the Housing Finance Corporation, who remain one of our funders to date. That money really meant that we could carry on into phase 2 and phase 3 of the project.
I've been the ward councillor here on the City Council since 1988, so way before the regeneration started. But when you think about what's been achieved, when you think about how many homes went and how many homes have been created, and you think about the lives that have been transformed, that money has worked for North Prospect. That partnership has worked for North Prospect. And now we have a new community looking forward, not to the past, but for many years in the future with confidence that it perhaps never had before.
I have been in North Prospect for like 30 odd years now. I do tell people when they say about North Prospect, is it nice? I said, yeah, because I've lived here a long time and it is a nice place to live. I'm still here. Still, I've been here quite a long time. So we've got a nice community around the back when we all get together every so often, which is good. A lovely 3-bedroom house from my old house that was full of damp. I think in here it had concrete counter in it, sure they said. But I did live in that property for 19 years. And then moving out of there to move into this, it was quite strange. I had a couple of friends come around 2 months ago and I showed them around and they went, how big is that house inside? I said, yeah, it's massive. You won't believe it from the outside. When you come in, it's absolutely massive. And if I want one of these houses, so you can't.